Are you looking for tips to pay off your car early or want to know the benefits? Well, I just paid off my truck 3 years early, and here's what I've learned. Hey, what's up guys? My name is Brad. This is a channel about tips and motivation on getting out of debt, as well as my journey through the baby steps on my path to financial freedom. For those of you that follow me on a regular basis, know that this video has been a long time coming. I have finally paid off my truck. I've been talking about it for months. It's finally happened. And it wasn't until now, after I've paid it off, that I looked back and saw what a real benefit it was. So I'm going to talk about some tips that might help you pay it off early, and also tell you about what I've learned and how much money I saved by getting rid of my truck payment. I was like the standard American who felt like having a car payment was really something that was pretty normal, that everybody had a car payment. And when I went out to buy my truck, I think back now at the framework and the things that were going through my mind, and it just seems crazy now knowing what I know. At the time when I bought my truck, my household had 2 paid off cars that were fully functioning. But yet, I tried to find every single excuse I could to go out and buy something new and trade in my car without a payment. When I went into buying my new car, I thought to myself, not if I could afford the truck, but how much of a payment could I afford? And I said to my wife, hey, if we could keep the payment under this amount, we could afford that car. Well, we know now that that is not the case. Just because you can afford the payment doesn't mean you should be buying that particular car. I went out and I bought my truck and I had my conversation with my dealer, and I knew where I wanted to be. And finally, when he met that, we met at an amount that was $606 every single month for my truck payment. And I was happy with that. I was super glad that I was going to be paying somebody $600 a month just to drive a fancy vehicle that I could tell my friends about and feel proud of. Then a year later, I learned about Dave Ramsey and I learned about getting out of debt, and I realized what a burden my truck really was. And I thought to myself, wow, if I'm going to do this, I really need to turn in my truck. I need to trade it in and get rid of it. I can't call myself a baby stepper if I have this brand new truck with this enormous payment. I did some research, and Dave talked about, if you could pay off your car in less than a year, and all of your motors in your house are less than half of your total income, then you're on the right track. And for me, that was the case. Where my truck was in my debt snowball, I knew that I was going to get to it, and I knew that I'd be able to pay it off probably within a year. And my total amount of payments and my total amount of debt to cars and other motors was in fact less than 50% of my annual income. So I figured I'm going to hold on to the truck and I'm going to try and pay it off in a year and do the right thing. While doing that, I had all these other excuses for why I needed my truck. I needed it for work, or I needed a reliable vehicle, or I needed something safe. I had all of those things beforehand and no car payment. My last car was a stick shift, so one of the things that me and my wife really talked about as an excuse to get rid of my car is she couldn't drive stick. It would have taken me one weekend to show her how to drive stick. But instead of that, we went out and we bought a $40,000 vehicle and sold our other vehicle to that dealer for $1,500. A perfectly working 2009 Mitsubishi Lancer I gave to the dealership and traded $1,500 for $60. Just because I didn't want to teach my wife how to drive stick shift. Well, a year later, the truck is finally paid off. And I've paid off now 2 credit cards, 2 undergraduate loans, and my truck. And moving through the baby steps, I've really felt awesome when I got rid of the debt. But this one really hits home for me, because this was the one that I had to work the hardest for. It was the one that I wasn't sure if I could have, and I had the choice of getting rid of early in my baby steps. And now I definitely feel a new appreciation for my vehicle. When I drive it around, I feel like I'm driving something that's mine. And that in itself is such a major motivation to me and to continue towards my other debts, because if I can feel the same way paying off my graduate loans and my house as well, then the sky's the limit for my financial future. So I took out a 6-year loan on my car. And like I said before, my payment, a little over $600 a month, and the interest on my truck was 4.1%. I had really good credit, which, as Dave says, is just a reason to take out more money and pay it back quicker, right? That's what a good credit score is. It means that you're good at paying back money to banks. By the time I got to my truck and my debt snowball, I was up to $1,814 was going towards my payment every month. So I almost tripled my monthly payment. And I started to see that total go down and down and down. I went back and looked at my previous statements, and in the 3 years, I paid $2,650 to interest. That's how much money I gave to Toyota Financial to hold on to my loan for me just because I wasn't adult enough to save up money and buy that car with cash. But on the flip side now, knowing what I know and getting rid of my truck 3 years early, I saved that same amount of money. $2,650 over the course of the next 3 years. And just think about all of the things that you could buy or all of the debt that you could pay off if you weren't having somebody else hold on to your debts for you, and you could put that $2,650 right inside your own pocket. The best part about having a paid off truck, and one that's relatively new, 3 years with $40,000 on it, my truck still holds a high amount of equity. When I go on Kelley Blue Book right now, I can get between $27,000 and $29,000 for my truck. So because it's a Toyota and because it's a really good, reliable car, it hasn't depreciated as much as I thought it will. Now I know that that asset's gonna depreciate over time, but if I really get stuck, I know that I have a $25,000 item that I can get rid of in a pinch if I really needed to in an emergency. So having that asset and knowing that Toyota doesn't own that truck I do is another feeling of relief and some weight lifted off my shoulders. I guess all in all, if right now you have a car payment and you're not following the baby steps, look up Dave Ramsey, look at my old videos, start a debt snowball, and try and start attacking your debt. If it's the only debt you have and you are a part of Dave Ramsey, be patient. You'll get there. And when you pay that car off, it is going to feel amazing. So my tips are, get on a budget, start doing the debt snowball, and really focus on it and pay it off as quickly as you can. The faster you're gonna pay that off, the more money and interest you're gonna put in your pocket, and the better that you'll be in the long term. For my 229 current subscribers, thank you so much for being a part of my YouTube family. If you're new here, consider subscribing. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it helped. If it did, give it a thumbs up. Go out, pay off your truck. I can't wait to have my deed. Check me out on Instagram, Baby Steps Brad. I'll have my title on there to prove to you guys that it's mine with a zero balance. Until then, I hope everyone enjoys the rest of your week. I'll have a live stream tomorrow night at 7:30 as always. Stop by, ask me some questions, and until then, have a great day.